encourage people who are adaptive to see the level of what we need to do to bring an elite level of adaptive boxing to head to that which is Paralympic glory. Now, we have been looking at safety aspects because that was the biggest key thing that was actually a barrier. And I hope you can understand with the methods that I'm going to speak to you, and this is the 3 methods that I want people to just learn, especially from a seated position, just to have a bit of a reality of what adaptive boxing from a wheelchair perspective is all about. Now, basically, I want to say thank you to 2-time world champion Gary Murray from Boxers booth in Glasgow, and believe you or me, he's been a great barrier for me to understand that I had to do this with the integrity that I hope other people see, especially to give a free program. It was something that mental health actually hits us all. In order to do adaptive boxing, especially from a seated position, and I hope you can understand that we either become southpaw or orthodox. So that means either right-handed or left-handed will actually be comfortable in those positions. But we're going to concentrate on the obliques at the moment, because the unfortunate thing is that adaptive have got so many different qualities, and I wanted to clear a few things up in order that we encourage people to do the word adaptive boxing. Now, doing it from a seated position helps you to understand the faculties, because there is a lot in order to do wheelchair boxing. It's an art, and people do need to respect it, but we all agree, where does discrimination come into play, especially when you're trying to get people to actually do or compete at the highest level? And anyone knows that that high level is actually able boxing, or the ability of an able-bodied athlete. So, step 1, jab. Anybody knows that everybody else is more of a guard type to keep a person away. A lot of people have got different strengths and qualities from an able boxer, we all know. But the problem is that when we see the quality of a person in able sports, you can always tell that a person isn't throwing their jab straight. And the easy way to explain it is that I'm southpaw, so really, if I wanted to throw a jab, then I would actually throw it and be close to what I call the chin. Now, we're talking about adaptive boxing. Now, the ability is that that's a straight shot, and I can show that more, because if I bring that in, the hand comes in and brings these 2 hands here to actually come in and connect to where you want. You connect over here, you're getting a boxer's fracture. You can actually become disabled from that one action. So we have to be very thought-minded in that, which is the safety. But then, talking of adaptive, they actually haven't got the ability to throw a straight shot. So that's where we came in to the protection, as well as key offensive structure. That how do you protect yourself as well as throw the shots and do it at an elite level? Now, don't forget, I've shown the elite level of wheelchair boxing. That's me. I'm severely blind, so it's basically that I know that I can actually box people within a 14-foot or a 22-foot ring in order to understand the template. We all base around that. But we're talking about laying a shot, that one single throw in a jab. Many people with different disabilities will not be able to do that. So that comes down to working on technique, and the only advisement I can have in order to have a truer shot is to get the shoulder as close to the jaw as you can. That would save the energy and everything else, and you would actually improve by actually hitting a person with the correct manner of 2 fingers. So that's step 1, to encourage people to actually throw a boxing jab in the WABC. Step 2 is about obviously going to obliques. That's these here, which is a muscle that actually a lot of people don't work on. There is ways, but again, you've got to watch, because the unfortunate thing is you will hit vital organs as well if you overtrain certain things in the back area. Now, I'm talking about obliques because each muscle is a difference. So if you can understand each person, we should be looking at that in order to understand that ability of that person might not be able to throw a jab, let alone a hook, uppercut, and then a hook. So it's basically, how do you work out the method? If I say that blind boxing helped me to understand distance, then I can say to you that if you have this ball, which is 7 to 8 inches, if people haven't got one, but you can try this at home. And it meant from a seated position as well, try it, because it gives you an understanding. Anybody who's able-bodied can stand up and do these methods as well. But I'd rather you sit in a chair and understand these methods more. It just gives you a reality of how much work there is involved to become an adaptive boxer. So it's basically this: for an uppercut to work, this ball, hold at least about an inch and a half away from the face. Now what you want to do is you want to put it directly so that it's halfway. The reason being is, if I just move my head alone, that's how far anybody's head will go. Everybody's head does it. The neck is the vital place here, which actually the obliques help with certain other muscles to help to rotate. But we're talking about 3 major jabs, which is in boxing. There is others, and it gets complicated, but these are the 3 main jabs that we've got to work from. So the uppercut, if you place this ball halfway through, hold with the left hand or right hand, depending on what side you are. What you want to do is, the obliques has a purpose to actually mold. So when you're here, those obliques there, if you see where my arms are protecting where I need to be. And that's where you get the hunch up and your chin dropping and actually get either orthodox or southpaw position. Everybody in a wheelchair will be rolling in, and you will go straight to that, which is your favourite position of fighting, or boxing, I should say. So it's basically this: take the ball, hold 1.5 inches away, middle of the face, hold with the left hand, as I'm doing as a southpaw, and basically hold your hand or arm in between to where the obliques is, and it's a curvature. If you can see there, there's a slight little shadow. That's where you want to protect. Okay? So, step 1, there, and then basically what you do is come in. Now, what you'll find is that you're getting a truer angle to working from. Now, don't forget, there's going to be people out there that will not be able to bring their arm in, but we can actually work on development of that, which means that actually when we work with the hook, simplified, same version, it's basically to bring it in. As you see, I'm coming back to the same point every time to work. So again, the person who's going to be throwing that jab or throwing that uppercut or the hook, then that deficiency is going to be very minimal, but we can improve it from the angle, because basically then there's 3 shots there: uppercut, hook, over the top, uppercut, hook, done. It's basically, you just want comfortability. It's just encouraging you to understand what a boxer has to do if he's going to do adaptive boxing. So, encouragement tool number 1. Remember that the jab is the most important to keep your defense as well. You can keep a man away. Step 2 is make sure that if you're going to roll and move that head first, in order to help out for the body to move as well. It's all rhythm. But it's basically you have to be bound because there's going to be some major shots to go for. Step one here could be these two sides here, as well as the jaw, which left and right, or right and left. It's basically, guys, we've got to be very safety minded and also be very minded not to discriminate people, especially on their motion. But if a person can sit in a chair and show the ability that he still has to move to jab, uppercut and hook in that ability without brain issues or various other type issues that come with that with mental health, there's an ability for anyone to get in that ring and actually compete against each other. But we all agree safety comes first. This is the WABC encouragement program number 1. Just join us. We want you to be safe. Have a good one.